Imagine for a moment that you were chosen for something far greater than you could ever understand before you even knew what it was. What if, as a child, you were granted the gift of seeing the invisible, of sensing things beyond the ordinary, of hearing whispers from another world? What if the signs that you've dismissed as coincidence, the moments of inexplicable protection, the unspoken truths that have always seemed just out of reach, were actually the marks of something divine? Today, I want to talk to you about the 5 shocking signs that, as a child, you may have been chosen by God. From an early age, many of us have felt that stirring in our hearts an awareness, often unspoken but undeniable, that we were destined for something more than the ordinary, something greater. It's a feeling that lingers, one that doesn't easily fade with time, even though, as children, we might not have had the words to describe it. A child with a strong sense of purpose isn't just playing make-believe or going through the motions of school and daily life. They are often driven by something far deeper, a knowing that they are here for a reason. Some of us experience this feeling in simple moments: a desire to help others, a fascination with the world around us, or even an unexplainable connection to things beyond our understanding. We may feel deep in our bones that we are part of a bigger story, a story that hasn't yet fully unfolded, but we sense it is coming. We know it because the desire within us isn't just a fleeting fancy. It's a deep-rooted calling that feels as natural as breathing. And as strange as it may sound, it might very well be that this sense of purpose is one of the signs that we've been chosen, marked by God for a specific path. Think back to your own childhood. How many of you ever had moments when you felt you were destined for something extraordinary? Maybe it wasn't something you could explain at the time, but there was a quiet assurance that you were meant for more than the average life, more than the mundane cycle of work, sleep, and routine. There are many who, as children, would speak about their future plans in ways that seemed almost preordained, as though they knew exactly where they were heading, even when their surroundings told them otherwise. It's almost as if they had a glimpse of their future, an understanding that many others never seem to grasp. This isn't about fame, wealth, or glory. It's about a knowing, a purpose that transcends all worldly expectations. Some of us might have felt it in the quiet moments sitting alone with our thoughts, gazing out at the stars, wondering about the vastness of the universe, or contemplating life in a way that felt too deep for our age. And maybe we dismissed it because children are often told to stop daydreaming or focus on the present. But that yearning for something greater, was never entirely our own. It was something placed in us, a whisper from beyond. It was a divine nudge, a sign that we were chosen for a purpose bigger than our immediate world. The fascinating part is that this sense of purpose often comes with an intensity that can be overwhelming. It's not merely an idle thought or passing wish, it's a deep, sometimes painful awareness. It might be that when faced with a difficult task or a seemingly impossible situation, some children find a resolve, a strength that feels supernatural. They don't back down, they rise to the occasion. This isn't to say they are immune to the struggles or challenges of childhood. They certainly are not. But there's something in the way they face adversity that reveals a profound certainty, a belief that they are not here by accident, but with a reason. They press forward, even when the world tells them to step aside. And this is precisely why it's so often overlooked by others. We are conditioned to think that children are innocent, naive beings with no concept of their true potential. But there are those who know, from an early age, that they are not bound by the same rules that govern most people. Their sense of purpose isn't something they've been taught, it's something they've been given. And though they may not understand it fully, they know it is there, quietly shaping the direction of their lives. What I find so remarkable is that this sense of purpose doesn't just manifest in the grand moments of life. It shows up in the subtle ways, perhaps in the way a child walks into a room with an unspoken confidence, or the way they speak of their dreams as if they have already achieved them. You've all seen children who are unwavering in their beliefs, who persist against all odds. It's not arrogance, it's a conviction that comes from somewhere deep within. And while many will write it off as youthful idealism or imagination, those who understand see it for what it truly is, a glimpse of divine calling. We might look at such children and think, how do they know what they want? How do they have this sense of direction, this conviction? And the answer is simple. They've been chosen. Chosen not because they are special, but because they have been called, guided by an unseen hand to walk a path they cannot fully comprehend, but are nonetheless drawn toward. It is not always a loud call. Sometimes it's the quiet whisper that says, you are meant for something more. And here's where the true beauty lies. This sense of purpose doesn't always look like what we expect. It doesn't have to involve moving mountains or changing the world overnight. Sometimes it's about the small moments of clarity, the child who knows they will one day help others, the one who finds joy in serving, or the one who quietly absorbs wisdom as if they are preparing for a future far greater than their present. There is a quiet strength that they carry with them, and while the world may not understand it, those chosen for a divine purpose will carry it with them throughout their lives. As we grow older, that sense of purpose sometimes fades or becomes clouded by the noise of everyday life. But for those of us who were chosen, that calling never truly leaves us. It remains like a soft echo in the background, reminding us of the divine hand that first set us on this path. In the end, the greatest sign of being chosen is not in the grand gestures, but in the quiet assurance of purpose that carries us through life, no matter where it may lead. There are some children, and perhaps you've known a few, who seem to have an uncanny ability to sense the needs of those around them. They might not be able to articulate it in the way an adult would, but they instinctively understand when someone is in pain or when someone is struggling, even if that person hasn't said a word. It's as though they carry with them a deep empathy that transcends the ordinary, an empathy that isn't learned, but rather seems to spring from somewhere far deeper. These children have a rare gift, one that can be both a blessing and a burden. It is as if they were born with a radar for the emotions of others, an ability to see beneath the surface and into the heart of a person without being told. You've probably encountered children like this, those who, at the age when most are still concerned with their own needs and desires, will suddenly notice when someone else is upset. It might not always be a dramatic display. Perhaps they'll simply put their arm around another child who is feeling lonely, or offer a quiet word of comfort when someone is sad. At first glance, it might seem like nothing more than a fleeting moment of kindness. But there's something more at play here, something that, if we take a step back and truly observe, seems a bit extraordinary. These children seem to have the ability to feel the world in ways others do not. They can walk into a room and immediately sense the atmosphere, whether it's light and joyful or heavy with tension. And when they sense that tension, they seem compelled to act on it. It's as though they know, on some deep, almost instinctual level, that their purpose is not only to live for themselves, but to help others live more fully, more joyously. This sense of empathy is not simply a human trait, it is a divine one. It is the mark of someone chosen for a higher calling, someone who is attuned to the needs of others in a way that goes beyond mere compassion. This kind of sensitivity can manifest in many ways, and it's often something that cannot be explained easily. There are children who, without being told, will know when a family member is sick, even before any signs are visible. They may quietly approach the person, offering comfort without being asked. Some children, when they see another child being picked on or excluded, will step forward and stand up for them, not out of a desire for attention or recognition, but out of an inherent understanding that everyone deserves kindness, everyone deserves respect. It's not about being noticed or praised, it's about doing what feels right in the moment, without question. What is truly remarkable about this type of empathy is that it isn't based on a person's outward appearance or even their actions. These children often know how others are feeling without any verbal communication. They can tell when someone is pretending to be happy, when someone is hiding their sorrow behind a smile, and because of this, they become not just aware of the world around them, but deeply connected to it. Their ability to see beyond the surface gives them a kind of wisdom that seems out of place for their age. It's almost as if they are seeing the world through different eyes that are open to the suffering, the joy, and the unspoken needs of those around them. This heightened awareness often comes with a sense of responsibility. For these children, the knowledge that others are hurting is not something they can simply ignore. They feel compelled to do something about it, even if that something is just offering a kind word or a listening ear. It's this sense of responsibility that makes them stand out. They don't wait for someone else to take action, they take the first step, because they know, on some deep level, that it is their purpose to help, to heal, and to bring comfort wherever they go. But this gift, as beautiful as it is, can also be burdensome. The more sensitive a child is to the emotions of others, the more they may struggle with their own emotional well-being. These children may find it difficult to navigate their own feelings because they are constantly attuned to the feelings of others. It's as though they are walking around with an open heart, vulnerable to the pain of the world. It's a heavy load to carry, especially for a child, and yet they carry it with grace and strength. Perhaps this is part of the reason why they were chosen. They have the capacity to feel deeply for others, to love without hesitation, and to comfort without reserve. But in doing so, they are also learning the true depth of their own humanity. What stands out about these children is not just their empathy, but the way they demonstrate it. It's easy to feel sorry for someone when you can see their pain. It's another thing entirely to feel that pain as if it were your own and to act on it. It's as if these children are not merely observers of the human condition, they are participants in it. They are called to walk alongside others, to ease their burdens, and to offer solace in times of distress. And they do so not out of obligation, but out of a deep, unspoken understanding that this is their purpose. What does it mean to be chosen by God in this way? It means that, perhaps from birth, we are given an innate ability to connect with others on a level that transcends words, to feel their pain as our own, and to bring comfort where it is needed most. It is a divine calling, one that shapes not only the lives of those who possess it, but the lives of those they touch. Because these children are able to give so much of themselves, they inspire others to do the same. And in this way, the world becomes a little bit brighter, a little bit kinder because of their presence. In the end, it's not just about knowing what others are feeling. It's about doing something with that knowledge, about reaching out, extending a hand and offering comfort. And in that, we see the true power of empathy, not just as a human trait, but as a divine gift. There are moments in life, fleeting though they may be, when we experience something utterly inexplicable, something that defies reason, that bypasses the logic of the world and taps into a deeper mystery. Perhaps you've had one of these moments yourself, a time when something extraordinary happened, something so unexpected. It felt as though the very hand of God had reached down into your life and guided you through a moment of danger or difficulty. It could be something as simple as surviving an accident unscathed, or as profound as feeling a deep sense of peace during a storm of chaos. These moments of divine intervention, these inexplicable protections, often arrive without warning, and yet they leave an indelible mark upon our hearts. It's in these moments that we come to understand something very important about our lives, that we are not simply walking through this world alone. There is something beyond us, something greater that watches over us, that guides us even when we don't see it. And sometimes, just sometimes, it feels as if the very universe itself is conspiring to protect us. These miraculous moments are often dismissed as coincidence by the skeptical, as chance by those who rely solely on reason. But for those of us who have felt the undeniable touch of something divine in our lives, there is no mistaking it. It is a sign that we have been chosen. Think about a time when you were in danger, a moment when your life could have taken an unexpected turn for the worse, and yet against all odds you emerged unscathed. Perhaps it was a close call on the road, a near miss with an illness, or a time when everything seemed stacked against you, and yet you found yourself standing whole and unharmed. There's a strange, almost eerie peace that comes with such experiences, as if, in that moment, a hand reached down and lifted you out of harm's way. It's not always dramatic. It may be something subtle, a strange sense of calm amidst the chaos, an inexplicable gut feeling that led you to take an alternate route, or a series of events that unfolded just so, leaving you untouched by disaster. But when these things happen, they leave you with a question: was that just a lucky break, or was it something more? For those who have been chosen, these moments are more than mere coincidence. They are signs of divine protection, proof that God's hand is upon them. It's as if, in these moments, we are allowed a glimpse behind the curtain of the everyday world, a brief vision of the unseen forces that guide and guard us. These moments serve as reminders that we are not simply going through the motions of life, that we are not merely at the mercy of fate or chance. No, we are held in the palm of something far greater, something eternal, and there is purpose in every step we take, even when we cannot see it. Perhaps this kind of divine intervention happens in more subtle ways as well. It might not always be a life-threatening event, but rather a series of small, seemingly insignificant occurrences that, when pieced together, reveal something profound. It might be the way things fall into place at just the right time. You might find yourself in the right place at the right moment, meeting someone who will change the course of your life, or receiving help just when you thought you couldn't go on. These small miracles, these unexpected moments of grace, are often dismissed by the world as mere happenstance. But for those who are aware, who are tuned into the deeper current of life, they know these are not accidents. They are whispers of the divine, signs that we are not alone, that we are being guided. One of the most striking aspects of these moments is the sense of peace they bring. When God's protection is felt most acutely, it is not in the form of a loud voice or a dramatic event. Rather, it is often a quiet, subtle assurance that everything will be okay, that even in the midst of chaos, you are safe, that you are held, that you are loved. This peace doesn't necessarily mean the absence of danger, but it does mean the presence of something greater. It's as though we are allowed to rest in the knowledge that there is a purpose to the pain, a reason behind the struggle, and that, in the end, everything will work out as it should. Think about how this divine protection doesn't always manifest in the ways we expect. It might not always look like a miraculous escape from physical harm, but rather the ability to endure, to survive, and to grow stronger through the trials we face. Some children who are chosen don't escape hardship altogether. They still face struggles. They still encounter pain. But there is a resilience within them, a strength that seems almost otherworldly, that enables them to rise above it. They are not immune to life's challenges, but they are equipped to handle them, to bear them with grace and fortitude, knowing that they are never truly alone in the struggle. There is also a profound sense of protection in the people and circumstances that seem to appear out of nowhere when we need them most. We might find ourselves at a crossroads, uncertain of what to do, and then someone arrives, often unexpectedly, offering guidance, comfort, or even just a listening ear. These encounters, too, are not random. They are part of the divine orchestration of our lives. The people who are placed in our path, the events that unfold at just the right moment, are all part of a larger plan, a plan that we cannot always see, but one that is always working, always protecting us. For those of us who are chosen, these moments of divine protection are not to be taken lightly. They are reminders that we are part of something much larger than ourselves, that our lives are not our own, but part of a grand, unfolding narrative. And while we may not always understand the why or the how of these moments, we can rest in the knowledge that we are held, that we are watched over, and that we are called to something greater. So when you look back on your life, when you think about the times when everything seemed stacked against you, but somehow you made it through, remember this: you were not alone. There was something greater at work, guiding you, protecting you, and leading you toward your purpose. These miraculous moments are signs that you are chosen, that your life is part of a divine story, and that, no matter what comes your way, you are never truly abandoned. You are held in the palm of the Creator, and nothing will ever change that. There are children who, from a very early age, speak of things that others adults even cannot quite explain. It may be a story they tell about a past life, or perhaps a conversation they have with someone invisible to others. They speak with a kind of certainty, as if they are not simply imagining things, but recounting truths they've known for far longer than they should. Perhaps they describe people they've never met, places they've never visited, or events that seem entirely out of reach for someone so young. For many, these experiences seem like nothing more than an overactive imagination, a child's way of making sense of the world. But for those of us who have seen it firsthand, who have witnessed this phenomenon, there's something undeniably extraordinary about it. It feels as though these children are seeing, or experiencing, something beyond this world, a spiritual realm that exists just out of sight for most of us. What are we to make of these experiences? How do we explain the child who speaks of angels as though they are dear friends, or the one who knows details of a family's past that have never been spoken aloud? Are these simply the product of fertile imaginations? Or is it possible, just possible, that these children are in touch with something much deeper, something far more mysterious than we can comprehend? There is a tendency in our world to dismiss such experiences as fantasy, to chalk them up to innocent dreams and the boundless creativity of childhood. And certainly there is a place for imagination in every child's life. But when we stop to consider the sheer certainty with which some children speak of things beyond their understanding, things that no one has told them, it raises an intriguing question. Could it be that they are, in fact, seeing something we cannot? Could it be that they are receiving glimpses of a reality that exists just beyond our own, a spiritual reality? We often speak of angels or of God's presence as abstract concepts, things that exist in the ether, difficult to grasp or experience in the concrete world we inhabit. But for some children, these beings are as real as the people standing beside them. They don't merely believe in angels, they speak to them, they see them, they understand their purpose. To these children, the spiritual realm is not something to be explained away or dismissed. It is as real and as present as the air they breathe. And this is where we find something truly remarkable, the possibility that these children have a unique access to the divine, that they are able to perceive things that others cannot. Think of the child who has a conversation with a friend who no one else can see. This friend might not be an imaginary playmate, but something far more profound. They might speak of places they've never been, people they've never met, or events that happened long before they were born. And when we ask them questions about these experiences, their answers are not fanciful or confused. They are clear, detailed, and often deeply insightful. This is not the product of imagination, it is something deeper, something that speaks to the child's connection to a spiritual reality that we, as adults, may have long forgotten how to see. There are those who have written off such experiences as mere flights of fancy, the harmless fantasies of a child's mind. But the fact remains that these children often speak with an assurance, a clarity that cannot be easily explained away. They describe spiritual experiences not as something vague or distant, but as something present, something real. They might describe the presence of angels or speak of their guardian as if they have always known them. And when asked about their experiences, they do not hesitate. They speak of them as though they are stating facts with no trace of doubt or confusion. In many ways, these experiences can be unsettling for us as adults. We are taught to rely on what we can see, touch, and measure. We are trained to trust our senses and our reason above all else. And yet, here are these children speaking of things that cannot be seen, heard, or touched, with a kind of certainty that we no longer possess. In these moments, it is as though the veil between the spiritual and physical worlds grows thin, and we are granted a fleeting glimpse of something greater. These children are not merely imagining, they are witnessing. They are seeing beyond the limitations of the physical world, perceiving a realm that is hidden from most of us. What is it that enables these children to perceive such things? Could it be that, from an early age, they are closer to the divine? That their hearts and minds are more open, more receptive to the spiritual world, than those of us who have grown older and more jaded? Perhaps there is something about the purity of a child's heart, something about their untainted belief in the unseen, that allows them to access these hidden truths. Perhaps their innocence, their openness, is a kind of gateway, a doorway to the mysteries of God's creation that we have long since closed off. It's important to remember that these experiences are not simply the stuff of childhood fantasy. They are not trivial or inconsequential. They are glimpses of a greater reality, hints of the divine presence that surrounds us all, but which we are too often blind to see. And these children, with their remarkable ability to perceive the unseen, are not merely engaging in fantasy. They are pointing us towards something we have forgotten, the truth that there is more to this world than meets the eye, that there is a spiritual realm that exists alongside our own. When we dismiss these experiences as mere imagination, we risk losing sight of something truly profound. We risk dismissing the possibility that God's presence can be felt, seen, and experienced in ways that go beyond our understanding. These children, in their untainted perception, are reminders of this truth. They are not simply making things up, they are reminding us of a reality that is just beyond our reach, a reality that we are too often too busy, too distracted to notice. In their purity, they are calling us to awaken to the spiritual world once again. So, when you encounter a child who speaks of angels, or of experiences beyond this world, do not dismiss it lightly. There is more at play here than we can understand. These children may be the ones who are closest to the divine, who see things that we cannot, and who offer us a glimpse into a reality we have long since forgotten. In a world so often consumed with the visible and the tangible, they are a reminder that there is so much more to life than what we can see, and perhaps, just perhaps, they are here to show us that we, too, were once chosen.